the session today on three of our new artificial intelligence courses. We will take you through a background and overview of those different programs and allow you some time to ask questions. We've got some fantastic academic colleagues joining us today from all different programs and departments at the university, and we're really delighted to share these programs and for you to be able to talk to your students about them. So to get started, we're going to have Will Smith talk to us about the MSc in Artificial Intelligence, followed by the MSc in Artificial Intelligence for the Creative Industries, and then the Philosophy of AI Master's Program to finish up. As a few people just filter through, we'll get started. So Will, over to you.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm just going to share my screen. Could someone just confirm they can see my slides? Is that showing?
Yep, all good.
Brilliant. Right, I'll make a start. So I'm very pleased and very excited to be able to present and announce the launch of the new MSc in Artificial Intelligence at York. And this is a course that's been developed and will be delivered by the Department of Computer Science. My name is Will Smith. I'm an academic in the department. I teach on some of the modules that form part of this MSc, and I've also been closely involved in the development of it. So I just want to give you a bit of a broad intro first to the department, and also to say something about why we've decided to create this MSc, like why at York and why now. So first of all, just a few facts about the department. So the Computer Science Department at York is 50 years old. We just celebrated our 50th anniversary. And to kind of pull out a few of the things that we're known for, one is that we've got excellent links with industry, and this feeds through to very successful graduates leading into graduate level employment or postgraduate level study. So the statistic across all of our courses, and it's pretty stable across kind of the past 10 years, is that about 95% of our students are in technical graduate level jobs after studying with us. We are based in a purpose-built building that contains facilities specifically developed for the sorts of teaching and research that we do. Our students get 24/7 access to this space, and it includes both labs, but also study spaces where students can come and work alone or in groups in a nice environment. The department is very well known for research. So in the most recent research evaluation, we were ranked 9th in the UK. And one of the things that I hope this presentation will convey is that this really does influence what we teach and why we're teaching the material we are in this MSc. So this is the department building on the east part of the campus. Almost all of our teaching takes place either in this building or in the adjacent couple of buildings. All of the technical lab work and the sort of small group project supervisions, office hours, and that kind of thing will take place in this building. This is just a few images of the study spaces around the department that the students get free access to. These are really popular and really nice places to come and do independent study. Okay, so why did we decide to launch an MSc in Artificial Intelligence at York? I think there's kind of two obvious reasons. One is that we have reached a critical point in artificial intelligence where the potential and the practical uses has suddenly exploded. You will have seen the headlines around the world. Many of you will have even played with ChatGPT, the new kind of breakthrough chatbot, and are probably starting to appreciate the significance of what's happening in artificial intelligence. And as a department, we really do believe this is a fundamental shift and breakthrough of the scale of the initial kind of computation or move to computational processing of the whole of kind of industry and society. We feel like this is the second revolution in computation that's coming, driven by artificial intelligence and in particular machine learning. So, okay, so there's this general context of it being a hot topic and starting to find practical uses. But specifically at York, there's a lot of relevant research going on that really underpins what's going to be contained in our new MSc. So I just wanted to point out a few kind of groups of people and centres and directions that are happening at York that motivate this. So first of all, we have an artificial intelligence research group comprising 6 academics. And in general, this group are interested in all of the different ways we might process, understand, and try and extract something useful from large-scale data. And often they're interested in data that's got particularly difficult or interesting structure. We have a second research group in the department called Vision, Graphics and Learning. And in this case, we're interested in trying to extract information from images or video or to generate those things. And so those 12 academics together will form a key part of the supervision group and will teach on many of the modules that are covered by this MSc. Complementing this, we've got a few centres. So the Institute for Safe Autonomy is a very large-scale funded research programme at York that's just moved into a new building shown on the bottom right. And all of their research and teaching is related to the idea of trying to make sure that these autonomous systems are safe. So obviously in something like a self-driving car, the safety of the system is absolutely critical. But how do you prove that something is safe when it relies on a machine learning system that is something of a black box? So that's what all of the work in this centre is related to. Next, we have Your Robots. So this is a collective that spans the entire university. It's not only engineering related subject, it's anyone interested in robotics, autonomous systems and their applications. And besides sort of theoretical developments, this group are also quite practical and have access to a lot of robotics kit. And finally, we have a theme that you'll hear about later in more detail from Marion, that digital creativity in games is a huge thing at York. And across a lot of centres and a lot of research programmes, there are people looking specifically at the role that AI can play in augmenting human creativity. Okay, so given all that, given the expertise, the critical mass, the set of people that we have at York, and the timeliness, we felt that this was the moment to launch our MSc in AI. So our first intake will arrive this September. It's a conventional 1-year, 180 credit full-time taught master's program. And we're aiming for both breadth and depth. So in terms of breadth, the MSc covers underlying theory, but always in the context of applying it practically. And it covers both symbolic and learning-based AI. Learning-based AI now completely dominates the field, but we're still very conscious that the more classical symbolic AI has a role to play, and we want our graduates to have some appreciation of that as well. In terms of depth, the modules that the students will be taking, most of them are brand new, but also they will be kept completely up to date. So I'll talk later about an example of a module that I'm involved in and how we keep that research led. So we make sure that any breakthroughs that are happening in research are quickly reflected in the curriculum of the module. Besides the technical content, we also want to make sure that our students are developing broader skills, so professional and academic skills, that will help them in their future career, whether that's in industry or staying in academic research, for example. And to support this, the new MSc, the department is putting a lot of resource into it, and we've been recruiting new academics specifically to work on this new MSc. So let me say something about the content of the course. So I've split the modules on the left into those that are compulsory and everyone will take, and then on the right, those that the students can choose from. So the first module, Foundations of AI and Machine Learning, is quite a critical module. The students that will be arriving onto this course will have a computer science background, but actually the amount of AI or machine learning they will have covered could vary quite significantly. And the same applies to some of the theoretical and practical skills that we need them to have. So the purpose of this module is to get everyone up to speed on the fundamentals that they require for the more advanced modules. The format of the teaching will make sure that no one at any point is bored. So there'll be the concept of a workshop, and basically as soon as a student is satisfied that they meet the skills required on that topic, they can move on. So there won't be, if a student's particularly strong already in a foundational skill, once that's clear, that's okay, they can move on. The second compulsory module is a more advanced module, which takes place in the second semester and builds on that foundations module. And this is where a lot of the state-of-the-art kind of latest and most important developments are taught. So this is probabilistic and deep learning. This covers particular areas of machine learning that have proven very successful in about the last 10 years. And just to emphasize how research-led this is, so I've taught a version of this module for the last 2 years. The version we teach next year will have a significant number of new topics added. And these are topics that have broken through in research in the last 2 years. To mention a few of them, these include the transformer architecture and a technique called stable diffusion for generating images. And this just shows how fast moving the field is and how crucial it is that the people teaching these topics are closely related to the cutting edge of research, so that we're aware of these new topics as they break through and we can include them in the module. Okay, the other two compulsory modules cover broader soft skills. So the first is research methods, which actually is not only soft skills. This includes some mathematics and statistics that's required for undertaking research in computer science. And the last module is the professional and academic development module, which enables students to develop these broader, softer skills that will be widely useful in whatever they do after the MSc. So finally, the students will choose two modules from a set of optional and in some cases elective modules offered by other departments. So I'll just briefly say something about these. So the first, AI problem solving with search and logic, this is where we cover the classical symbolic based AI. This has, besides not being kind of so much in the news at the moment, still has many applications and is very useful in various areas of industry, but also has interesting applications, for example, in games, which will be seen in this module. Next is computer vision and graphics. This is my kind of area. So this is everything to do with the analysis and generation of images and video and other visual content. The third, evolutionary and adaptive computing, tries to look at how biology can influence our computational models of autonomous systems. So can we take ideas from evolution and how natural organisms adapt to their environment in order to build autonomous systems? The fourth module is a very practical module about robotic systems, how they can be engineered to operate in the real world and operate safely. And the final module is an elective, and this offers students the opportunity to look much more broadly at the social impacts of AI and some of the ethical considerations. So besides the taught modules that the students will study over those 2 semesters, every student will also take a capstone project. So this is a 12-week in-depth research project, and it's a chance to delve really deep into a cutting-edge research topic. Each student will work closely with an academic supervisor who is an AI expert and is conducting research in relevant areas. And the student will receive regular one-to-one supervision from these supervisors throughout the project. Every supervisor will suggest a range of topics. So ideas for projects that they think would make a good MSc project. But also students are free to suggest their own. If they want to do that, we would, or we facilitate them finding a supervisor working in that area who can help guide the specification for the project. And through these projects, there's occasionally an opportunity to collaborate with industry. So a student I supervised on our broader MSc in computer science last year, his project was actually specified by an industrial collaborator, and then they acted as co-supervisor while he was working on it. So it was a chance to work with real data from industry on a problem of real industrial interest. Okay, so I'm going to kind of move towards wrapping up. So the entry requirements for our MSc is a 2-1 or equivalent in a computer science related degree. And obviously, computer science related can be interpreted in different ways, but specifically, it needs to be a strong background in computer science, software engineering, or information technology. And I can provide afterwards a list of the sorts of modules we would expect to see in a student's background if they're coming to this course. In terms of language, we require IELTS 6.5 overall with a minimum of 6 in each component or an equivalent qualification. So let me finish by just saying why I think students might want to come and study this course. So the first thing to say is the technical skills they will acquire across the list I've put here and many other things are incredibly in demand. So we can see even our undergraduates that have some experience with these topics are finding it really easy to get really good and interesting jobs when they graduate, because these skills, that the need for these skills has suddenly exploded. So just having the experience and being able to put on your CV that you're an expert in these areas is an incredibly valuable thing. But I do also believe the soft skills you'll develop, both in the technical modules and the modules specifically designed to help you develop these skills, are incredibly important. So you will have experience of managing a project, organizing your time, evaluating how a project's running, working with other people, communicating, managing your time, and developing the skills you need to do research. All of that is extremely useful, and our students really do grow in those areas while studying it in our department. Last thing to point out is that because of the work going on at York, we have access to really great facilities. So that includes lots of high performance computing servers that students can use as part of their project, and access to facilities. So if you're working in robotics or computer vision or Internet of Things or safe autonomy, then through your project, you'll get access to the facilities of the relevant labs. Right, I will leave it there. I think I've left almost no time for questions, but maybe if there's a very quick one, I could take it.
Thank you, Will, for that really comprehensive overview. Really nice to see so many of our partners from across the globe joining in. We've got lots of people here today. Does anyone have a question they'd like to post in the Q&A, and we'll take that through with Will? If not, we will move on. Yeah.
I'm very happy to answer questions by email after the session.
Yeah, okay. So one question in the chat from Gary. What would you tell students who have an offer from York, but also have multiple offers from other high-ranking universities? And we know that MSc Computer Science is a program offered at many places. What would you say differentiates York in this subject area from those other high-ranking universities as well?
So I think probably I'd just kind of refer back to a couple of the things I mentioned. So that kind of breadth of activity going on at York, so the different research groups and centres, means we really have a lot of world experts in different areas of AI, and the students will genuinely get to interact with them and benefit from that through the research-led modules that they'll do, and also the one-to-one supervision they'll get in projects. So, and I think, and then that's complemented by the facilities that gives the students access to. So I genuinely think they'll get a unique experience and a unique flavour of AI by coming to York.
Fantastic, thank you. And then a question from Keaton is talking about periods of gap, so periods away from study that a student might have been working. Do you have a typical rule off the top of your head for how long we look for that to be, or is that going to be an admissions decision?
So someone might be able to jump in and help me here. The number's gone out of my head. I've got a feeling, is it 4 years?
I think it's typically 4, but I wanted to.
Yeah, so we go with the standard 4 years. Obviously, in any case where it's more than 4 years, we look at it on a case-by-case basis. So if it's 4 years, longer than 4 years, but with relevant industry expertise, then that may well be fine.
Cool, that's helpful. We can come back to that as well. Okay, I think we'll just pop over to Marianne now for the next presentation of today. And you're going to be talking to us about the MSc in Artificial Intelligence for the creative industries. Marianne.
An excellent platform to build on. Thanks, Will. I believe you're already excited about the MSc in computer science and AI. I'm going to present to you a sister master's, or mistress, I should say, MSc in Artificial Intelligence for the Creative Industries, which is led from the School of Arts and Creative Technologies at York. And I'm going to, oh, my cursor didn't work there. It is clear already that we have around us a myriad of applications of artificial intelligence. You have it on your phone when you have face recognition or you identify yourselves. Will mentioned self-driving cars, etc., etc. However, artistic creativity so far has been regarded as unreachable, not a place where AI could penetrate. Well, let me show you some examples. I've asked a artificially intelligent agent to write a one-stanza poem in the style of The Raven by Alan Edgar Poe about solitude in social media. A kind of strange request, but here is what it produced. Of course, the bot was ChatGPT, and I'm going to read just because I think it is quite impressive. In the still of my room, I sit alone, surrounded by friends on a screen unknown, a constant chatter, a never-ending scroll, but in my solitude, my thoughts take hold. A virtual raven, a harbinger of woe, reminds me of the emptiness I know. Connected, yet lonely, I yearn to break free from this cycle of sorrow and ennui. Well, some may say it is somewhat naive, but I was really, really impressed by the power of this creation. Another example, let's go to painting. I've asked another artificially intelligent agent to create a painting of an abandoned war zone with the remnants of an old civilization lost to time, grungy, derelict, in the style of old photography. This is what it produced. And the author was DALL-E, an artificially intelligent agent. How about music? Well, from the 66 attendants, I hope some of you like jazz. I hope you all like jazz. I love jazz. And here is what AI can produce, a song entirely produced by AI in the style of Ella Fitzgerald.
Thinking about your career,
whether
you're yet to start.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt it.
Would like to progress in your
Oh dear, dear. It's an ad, so I'm going to skip it. I beg your pardon. You'll have the link and you could go to it later. Let's look at video. Here is what a news agency in China was able to produce.
现场的各位朋友，大家好，欢迎来到新华社。我是由新华社。
Have you got? Is there audio? I don't know if I shared. There is audio.
我的名字叫辛小萌，我的声音和外形脱胎于新华社新媒体中心新闻主播群。
Entirely produced by artificial intelligence.
现场的各位朋友。
And finally, I want to show you another extremely impressive example of an artificial human. This is an entirely synthetic face produced with the help. So artificial intelligence, I can conclude that now is capable of producing outputs of artistic value in all the areas of artistic expression, including writing, painting, music, filming, etc. Therefore, we have set up our masters in artificial intelligence in the creative industries to pioneer the exploration of the incredible opportunities presented by AI for artistic creativity and to analyze in depth the ethical consequences of such developments. Why the creative industries and why creativity, you might ask? Well, in UK, the creative industries are bigger than life sciences, aerospace, and automotive sectors combined. And in the world, I haven't got figures for the world, but I believe in the world, we are sharing a similar large slice of the industry. And why at York, in the School of Arts and Creative Technologies? The school itself is a highly multidisciplinary environment, combining various forms of performing arts, creative arts, with technology, as the title suggests. Another interesting combination that we have in our school, we have high quality research as proven by the universities belonging to the prestigious Russell Group. But we combine that with professional practice. We have many people from the film industries, from theater, from television, who come and teach on our programs. And not last, University of York and our school is leading research and innovation in UK's in the creative industries. We had a series of large initiatives, DC Labs, Extra Story, Sign. These are all very large research and innovation programs of a total value of over £50 million. And this is over the past 10 years. So we are really one of the strongest places in the UK for research and innovation in the creative industries. This MSc that I'm describing here will prepare the next generation of multidisciplinary experts driving forward the responsible use of AI in creative practice and the creative industries. And I would like to focus responsibility, because AI now is capable of affecting decisions, affecting human life in all sectors, and we need to understand what that impact is, analyze it, and innovate with responsibility. There are three core areas, three core outcomes, and three core areas of focus of this master's. Students will understand AI techniques and technologies, will then also be able to apply them to develop new forms of intelligent media and explore new ways of producing creative outputs, of new creative workflows, and will able to found it in strong theoretical roots to critique cultural, social, and philosophical impacts. Here is the link with the computer science MSc that Phil presented, a strong link on the technology side, and there's also a strong link with the presentation which will follow mine on the philosophy of AI. So we are kind of in between these two masters, and we focus on creative practice. The structure is somewhat easy to understand, simple. We have a foundation with introducing a larger set of AI techniques and their applications to creative practice with illustrative examples, with major examples from industry. Then we have a strong focus on techniques. So students will learn how to do things in 20 credit modules. And then another dedicated module to the ethics of AI in creative practice. These are the taught components. And then there's 100 credits dedicated to more or less individual work, which is driven by the student's final year project or final dissertation. And that's preceded by access to an optional module from a pretty rich collection of modules in creative practice, in techniques, in sociology, in the philosophy of AI, depending on the student's interests. Entry requirements, standard BSc or BA 2-1 or equivalent in a related discipline to the master's. We wish to attract students who have understanding of creative workflows in at least one sector of creative practice, because that is not at all looked after in the master's. Students have to come with that when they enter the master's. And we also expect some basic familiarity with computing skills, but there are no formal requirements there. As careers, AI is entering the creative industries, and here's a list of possible jobs. The industry is crying out for people with digital skills, and now the industry is waking up to the large opportunities that AI offers. And of course, these are just some jobs that are possible now, but the range of jobs will grow very, very fast. And we also have our graduates kind of intending to push in and inform the industry of what is possible through AI. The unique selling points of this master's: it is a pioneering program. There's only one in UK that is related to what we do, provided by the University of Arts. Ours is more focused, and I would say situated in a much stronger environment. It is applied to an area of economic strength where technical skills are in very high demand. And it is highly multidisciplinary, so we kind of will prepare very rounded personalities, people who understand the techniques, people who can take them and do something, create something with that, and also people who are able to critically assess the impact of what they're doing, the impact of the use of those technologies. And I think this union of skills will create some very, very strong professional personalities desired everywhere. And not last, it is based at the University of York. I've already mentioned we are a key leader for research and innovation in technology-driven creative practice, but we're also leaders in fundamentals of AI through computer science, and we're also leaders of critical studies and philosophical inquiries of AI through the Department of Philosophy and Department of Sociology. So I hope this is persuasive to you to market my program. And I leave you, and with this slide, I will open the floor for questions. I leave you with, again, a creation of ChatGPT, a marketing pitch that was produced by ChatGPT for this particular master's. So should I go to, I see a student has done undergraduate in irrelevant academic background, but has relevant work experience in computing field. Is she eligible for this course? I don't know if this is for me or for Phil, a question from Keaton.
I think this one was for Will slightly earlier on. But we can do a little bit more. There is a question on entry requirements, because I think the MSc Artificial Intelligence in Computer Science is a program that many of those on the call will have some sense of the suitable background, and we can give them some more detail on what that looks like for York. Your program, in contrast, Marianne, is quite different and innovative, and we're only seeing one other university offering this in the UK. So could you tell us a bit more about what would the typical and what would the preferred student background be for someone applying? Who do you want in your classrooms?
So I would like students who have graduated from a discipline that is related to creative practice. So students will know how to make films, will know how to produce theater, will know how to write, will know how to produce television programs. But more importantly, I would like to recruit from the space of interactive media, students who engage with media, but with the new forms of media through virtual reality or augmented reality applications, games, social media. So those are the sectors that I think are riper for our masters. And with that creative practice, I hope students would have at least an appetite to engage with technology, if not also some personal background in technology.
Fantastic, thank you. And then what about on the other side? What if you've got a graduate who's done a computer science bachelor's degree? How's that going to work out for them?
That is also a possible route into the program. They would have to somehow prove that they have the knowledge and they have the, again, appetite for engagement with creative practice. So there are many computer scientists that make games or that make music, or so it's kind of their hobby, but not necessarily formally engaging with. And then they would come with a stronger technical background. Obviously, they could then build on that in the masters and will learn and will improve their skills in producing artwork, in producing artistic outputs. And I believe we'll have applicants from both directions, and then the environment itself is going to be quite rich and will stimulate co-learning, discussions between students, and so on and so forth.
Fantastic, thank you. So yeah, we've got these two different ways in, I think, to this kind of distinctive program, and we've got students really excited about interacting with lots of those areas that all of us see every day, you know, music and film, but then also all of the apps and material that's on your phone, all of the sort of live and interactive shows and things that exist. Okay, we've got time for a question if anyone has one. So if you've got questions on Marianne's program and this kind of sister program to the computer science course that you heard from to begin with, you can post in the Q&A. Otherwise, we'll move on to Tom for the final introduction today.
Great, thank you. Let me just get screen share going, hopefully. Okay, have we got the screen share working?
Yeah.
Excellent, thank you. So thanks, Nick. So just to introduce myself, Tom Stoneham, I'm Professor of Philosophy. I'm also Head of Department at the Department of Philosophy, and I teach on the programs I'm going to be talking to you about. So the programs now are based in the Philosophy Department, but there is some flexibility that we'll talk about as we go through. But I want to start with just a bit of an introduction to the Philosophy Department. So what's so special about philosophy at York? Well, we're second in the UK for research, which means our research was recently assessed as stronger than Oxford, Cambridge, all the London colleges. And that includes having a perfect GPA of 4 out of 4 for research impact. And that's the impact, the societal impact of our research. And this is something we value very highly. I'll be talking about this as we go through, but we also have very, very high quality research. And we're a relatively large department outside of London, Oxford and Cambridge. We're one of the larger ones. We also have very, very good student satisfaction. Our students are very happy. We have a very friendly department with a lot of staff-student interaction. And that shows on the recent National Student Survey, where we were first in the Russell Group for overall satisfaction, third for teaching quality, and top 5 for 7 of the 9 categories. So We're a very strong department in general for philosophy, but it's a small discipline, and people need to know a little bit more about what we're doing. And what I want to talk to you today is some of the programs which will be more generally of interest. So first of all, just a sense of what we do as a department. Our current priorities are around three main thematic areas: the impacts of AI, which is our focus today, but we also have a strength in understanding mental health and also in social justice. And I really do want to emphasize around AI. There are some other programs, philosophy of AI, emerging around the country. We got in there first, but none of them are research driven and multidisciplinary approaches in the same way as we have. So we really regard ourselves as the leading department in this area. We have a very strong collaboration with York's Institute for Safe Autonomy, which is a major national innovation in this area, which will know a lot about. We have four of our academic staff are currently co-investigators on AI projects being led by computer science. So we're continually collaborating with computer science colleagues in this space. We have, for example, one of my current PhD students working on AI is currently doing an internship for PwC, looking at their internal ethics approval processes for their technology units. So we have very good engagement outside academia, and we're a key player in the AI and Society Lab, which is a research grouping with business and sociology. So we're working across all academic areas to try to understand the AI in society, the ethics of AI, and also the future impacts of emerging AI. So first program I'm going to talk to you about is MA in Philosophy of AI. I mean, it does what it says on the tin, but I probably need to explain this a little bit more to you. So like all York MAs, it's constructed out of 20 credit modules and a dissertational project. We have two core required modules, Topics in Philosophy of AI, which is taught by our leading researchers in the area. So it's taught by AI specialists, and a research and dissemination skills module, which is also quite unique, and in that students on that module have to attend research presentations, write reflective journal on that, but they also have to work collaboratively in organizing and delivering a conference. So part of the program is that they deliver their own student-led conference. And they do an individual dissertation. And this is 60 credits, 1/3 of their 180 credit program. To give a sense of the range of options, they have choice of more than 15 options within the department, and they can take electives elsewhere. But just to give you a sense of the sorts of things that they might choose to specialize in with their options, we have modules on creativity, comparing human and machine creativity that Marion was talking about. We have modules on consciousness, which is obviously of great interest in the AI space. We have modules in mental health, which are relevant. For example, modules on loneliness. I'm currently teaching that myself. And this week we were talking about the impact of social media and other technologies on mental health and loneliness. So there's a range of different things they can study. The program is structured around themes we can think of as in terms of the stages of the technology. So there are ubiquitous AIs, which we've already heard quite a lot about. And these are the things that are just every day. They're just running your phone. They're just running the internet for you. They're probably deciding your tax returns. And we look very strength here at looking at the harms and social justice issues around this technology that has become ubiquitous in our society. Is it creating new harms? Is it reinforcing social injustices which we wouldn't want to reinforce? We also look at the emerging novel AIs, which Will and Marion have been talking about, like ChatGPT, emotion recognition systems, which are particularly worrying, and autonomous agents, which is a lot of our collaboration with the Institute for Safe Autonomy. And also because with philosophy, we think about the more things that haven't yet been developed, the things that people worry about when future gazing, the emergence of superintelligence, whether we're going to create AIs that will be smarter than humans and what sort of impact that will have and how we can constrain that. So those are the sorts of topics that are covered in the program. And I thought a good way of just getting a sense of how the students cope with this material and what they come out with was to give you an example. We've been running this program, we're on our second cohort at the moment, so I'm able to give you some examples of actual projects that the students did for their 60 credit dissertation. So we had a project on determining the moral standing of artificial beings. Do they have ethical rights? Is it wrong for us to be violent towards a robot? We looked at another project looking at creativity, trying to understand rather than process concepts of creativity, virtue and skill-based concepts of creativity and how those might apply in AI. We had another project looking at whether the ethics of the implementation of AI should be done through universal principles or whether it needs more context-sensitive and specific approaches. And finally, emotion recognition in classrooms, which is coming out as we speak. Schools are being encouraged to buy this AI systems, which will monitor children during lessons and give feedback to teachers on their emotional states. So another project on that. So that's the kind of thing that the students like to get into on this. So who are our students and where do they go? Student backgrounds, this program isn't really for science backgrounds. We'll consider an application from people with a STEM background, but generally the program is aimed at people with humanities or social science backgrounds who are used to critical, reflective, discursive approaches. However, they do need to be comfortable with some maths. We typically say high school maths, not because they're going to be doing maths, but quite a lot of what they'll be reading will require them to understand a certain amount of maths. As Will would understand, they're going to have to know what Bayesian modeling is, what Bayesian causal modeling is, and Bayesian epistemic modeling is, and probabilities. So they have to be able to grasp some basic mathematical concepts, but they don't need to be able to do the maths. We need students who enjoy interdisciplinary approaches, who are interested in reading across different disciplines. And we also need students who enjoy teamwork because the approach is very much collaborative. We tend to split the students into two teams. Team Lovelace, after Ada Lovelace, probably the first historical claim there, female computer scientist. Team Turing after Alan Turing. Where do the students go? Well, as I say, we're on our second cohort at the moment. We're beginning to get a sense of whether they're achieving our employability outcomes, and they are. There are two general destinations. One is into AI policy and regulation. Students are looking to work for NGOs, rights campaigns, but they're also moving into civil service, where it's a big area of policy and regulation at the moment. And students are also interested in academic research, and there's two routes they think they're taking here. One is to go into a further degree, a PhD degree. This is a very, very strong foundation if anyone wants to do a PhD in ethics of AI or politics of AI. But we're also seeing increasingly that a lot of AI labs are interested in ethics assurance and interested in ensuring that their research and its implementation meets ethical standards. There is positions as research associates in labs, which our students are able to move into. So that's the Philosophy of AI program. We're also launching a new one for September 2023. We're already recruiting on this. And it's quite important here. So both Marion and Will used as examples of example of breakthrough AI is ChatGPT and DALL-E. Both of these are data-driven AIs. They work by gathering masses and masses of data and using the sorts of processes that Will students would learn about to analyze that data and produce new results. But that data all comes from human beings. That data is what you, I, and others have posted on the internet at some point in our lives. That data is anything that can be made, that the data scrapers can get hold of in this way. Sometimes it's closed, sometimes it's open. But that point is that data comes from humans, and only very exceptionally are those people who produce the data in any sense consenting to its use. And we have yet to see how that will reflect out in the products of these systems. ChatGPT is pretty new, but all your social media posts will be in its data set. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. So there's some really interesting issues around ownership and privacy about data, which are becoming more and more important. And so we have this program looking at those issues. It's unique in many ways. It's unique because it's the only program in the world, as far as we can tell, in this area. There are programs on legal issues around data privacy. There are programs on technical issues around data privacy, but there is nothing looking at applied ethics and governance, which looking at not merely what the current situation is, but in a very fast emerging situation, how things are going to change, and what we can do to get it right in that situation. It's also unique in its approach. It has a problem-based learning approach. Students throughout the 2 semesters are engaged in problem-based learning modules. In the problem-based learning, the students are put together into governance committees. So they're made to work as if they're in an organization on the governance committee. They have to set their own terms of reference, organize the committee themselves. They then set real-world case studies and asked to produce a committee-based report on what is the right and wrong way to deal with the privacy issues raised by those case studies. And they're assessed by both their teamwork, their contribution to the committee, but they also write an individual report. So very strong grounding in practicalities there with the problem-based learning. Students can also take an internship with one of our partners or another if they can find one, as part of their dissertation, whereby they work with that partner on a project within that organization and then write it up as their 60-credit dissertation. And the sort of partners we're working with are the Open Data Institute, founded by Tim Berners-Lee, the founder of the Internet, Open Rights Group, which is a digital rights campaigning organization, Connected by Data, which is another civil society organization looking at how data is used for social benefit, and the Ada Lovelace Institute, which is also looking at data ethics at the moment and how research ethics needs to be reformed. So these are sorts of partners that they'll be engaging with and will be providing us case studies, potentially internships. Who's this program for? Well, we will take anyone. Not quite, but we have no particular background. Because of the problem-based learning and the teamwork approach in the core materials, it's very much a case that we want academically and socially diverse groups of students. We have a strong electives route here. So if a student comes in from a technical background or a legal background, they want to maintain that, they can take modules in those disciplines as well. To give you a sense of what I mean by this, say we're recruiting now for 2023, to give a sense of the range, well, we have some standard people coming through from undergraduate programs in philosophy, psychology, linguistics. We also have an advocate from New Delhi with an LLB from 2013, so nearly 10 years work experience. In law, looking to specialize in privacy and understand the global context. And we have a privacy manager from Nike China in Shanghai, again, looking to specialize, but get a different approach, something that makes them stand out in an emerging and competitive field. What we need is people who are keen on teamwork, because it is teamwork, and have good networking corporate skills so that they can work with our partners effectively. Student destinations, well, privacy enhancing technology is huge emerging business at the moment. It's a global movement that all the big players, but also a lot of startups are developing in. The students will also be particularly well prepared to work in regulatory compliance and enforcement. In particular, these are areas where there's a lot of grey area in compliance enforcement issues, and understanding the fundamental issues behind the questions they're dealing with is very important there. And they can also be working in organisations on their data strategy and risk management across all sectors. That's an important issue. So I'm going to stop there, and if there are any questions, more than happy to take them.
Thank you, Tom. So rounding out there with both of those programs in the philosophy department, MA in philosophy of AI and MA in applied ethics and governance of data privacy. And we know that for some students, these are going to be the perfect program. They're going to be that kind of specialist interest, that extension on their academic background, and probably that link to their sort of job expectations and their career plans, career experience so far. So yeah, fantastic to see those also being introduced at York. And we have just a couple of minutes. So any final questions for Tom in the Q&A, or any other questions that we can help with? Okay, wonderful. There were a few questions earlier in the chat about quite specific parts of visa policy or application policy around wait times, and around if someone's already had a visa refusal, how that would be considered at York. Those are all going to be dealt with on a case-by-case basis, but if you've got some particular examples, you're welcome to email them through and we can take a look. The best email address would just be our general one, international@york.ac.uk. Otherwise, we will share the recording and share some further information on the programs today. Thank you everyone for coming. We're really pleased to see so many of our partners and colleagues across the university and colleagues elsewhere joining us. Please do encourage your students, encourage your interested applicants to apply for these courses. We think they're a really strong addition to what York offers at a really fantastic institution, and we're really looking forward to seeing many, many, many more join us from all around the world in September. Thank you very much. We'll wrap up there.